by too. Many countries, 184 countries at least. Thanks to the courage of our citizens and our aggressive strategy, hundreds of thousands of lives have been saved. And we have saved, and if you look at on a per 100,000 basis, we're at the best part of the pack, right on the bottom. Germany and us are leading the world. Germany,
we are actually 14th highest in deaths per capita. 14th highest in deaths per capita.
Through every challenge and hardship and danger, America has risen to the task. We have met the moment, and we have prevailed. Americans do whatever it takes to find solutions, pioneer breakthroughs, and harness the energies we need to achieve a total victory. Day after day, we're making tremendous strides with the dedication of our doctors and nurses. These are incredible people. These are brave people. These are warriors. With the devotion of our manufacturing workers, food suppliers, and lab technicians, and with the profound patriotism of the American people, we will defeat this horrible enemy. We will revive our economy, and we will transition into greatness. That's a phrase you're going to hear a lot because that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, from you.
We're going into the third quarter, and we're going to do well. In the fourth quarter, we're going to do very good, and next year, I think we're going to have one of the best years we've ever had because there's a tremendous pent-up demand.
Hopefully he'll be gone.
It's a demand, and I'm feeling it. I've felt things over my life. And
he's feeling it.
I've made a lot of good calls. It's a demand like I don't think I've ever seen. There's a pent-up demand. There's a spirit in this country like few have seen. And I think you can say, and we've helped a lot of the countries.
Oh, it's fine. Thank you.
Really a lot. There's a tremendous spirit all over the world to beat this terrible thing. But we're transitioning to greatness, and the greatness is going to be in the fourth quarter, but it's really going to be next year, and it's going to be a year like we've never had before. I really believe that. As good as we've done, and we've done great. We had the best economy in the history of the world, not just here.
No law regarding cannabis. Cannabis is for all. Cheers, everybody. Top of the hour. We're starting late. Cheers, guys.
We had the best economy anywhere in the world, and we were going for numbers, whether it was unemployment numbers, where we had our best numbers. Employment also numbers, a little different, where we had our best numbers, almost 160 million people. All of that, we had the greatest stock market numbers ever. I think we had 142 days where we set records. In a short period of time, 152 days, we set records in the stock market. We rebuilt our military, all built in the United States. All of our equipment built, $1.5 trillion plus.
Because the cupboards were bare.
On the southern border, the wall is being built. It's being built rapidly, and now you don't hear the opponents talking too much about the border. They don't like to talk about it because it seemed that we were right on a lot of
hippie chick. Shh! Our president is speaking.
Things. One of the things we were right about, one of the many things, was the border. We have a very powerful border now. We had one of the best weeks in the history of our border between the United States and Mexico, our southern border. We had very few people coming in, very few, almost record low numbers. And the wall is being built. It's up to 181 miles already. It's being built rapidly.
Really, did the wall keep fucking COVID out of the goddamn United States? No. You're a fucking failure. You're a pathetic failure. Shut up.
People don't talk about it anymore because it's very successful. And the area where the wall has built, that is a lot still. But we want to be up to 450 by...
That's enough. David C. Baker's here. I can't play fucking Donald Trump when David C. Baker's here. Fuck this guy. All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome. So, just catching up there with what's going on with COVID. I think it is important to hear a little bit what the president says because even I am interested in what the president is going to say. I'm interested just out of curiosity and because I'm an American citizen and he has access to the most up-to-date information, even though he doesn't share that with us ever, unless it involves his economy or his jobs numbers. We don't fucking hear about it. And then he sits on it for months and people die. Thank you. Yes, Bad Blue Jaws, 3 minutes. But, you know, as far as bringing information to us and enlightening us, he's not doing any of that. I'm just kind of hoping that maybe there will be some information that I might need to know that he's going to reveal, you know? Because we are in the middle of a pandemic, and it is his job to keep us informed. It's his job to protect us. And even though he does a horrible jab, his jab is horrible. He does a horrible jab. He did a horrible jab. He need to be fired. He need to be fired. It's a horrible jab. You're doing a horrible jab. It's a horrible jab. Millions of people are suffering. I'm doing a horrible jab. It's a horrible jab. Can I buy one of them shirts? They're badass. Yeah, they might be for sale on the website. I don't know. <sighs> 182 miles of 2,000 miles is a whole in all terms, so another 10 years. It'd take 10 years. Hey, Don. It doesn't matter. The virus wouldn't be stopped by the goddamn wall. It didn't protect us. Hey, Allie, it didn't protect us against the virus. And it's just amazing. While he's sitting here trying to juggle the news in front of you, trying to juggle the information that's coming in, he's literally telling you that his fantastic, amazing wall, by just telling you the numbers, hasn't worked, hasn't kept the virus out of the country. Oh, let me get Rogan. He's up on the bed. You ready to come down, buddy? Okay. I can't pick him up. He's literally in the middle of the bed, and he weighs 50 pounds, and I can't pick him up. So in order for me to get him off the bed, he has to come to the corner, and he does when he wants to get off the bed. He just cried. I walked back there. He's not on the frickin' corner. All right, happy 7/10, everybody. Cheers. No law regarding cannabis. Gotta leave him up on the bed. So I call him Corner Boy when he's on the corner of the bed. I'm like, Corner Boy. What's up, Corner Boy? And then I start singing, down on the corner, there's a corner boy waiting on the corner of the bed for Renee to bring him outside. Down on the corner. So, yeah, I appreciate David Pakman fact-checking the president in real time, and that's something you can appreciate too. If you want to listen to the president and you want someone to stand there in real time with you live, I mean, check it out seriously for a little bit. Listen to David Pakman's little comments. Well, all he's doing is he's fact-checking the president, and he has to do it a lot because the president lies a lot. So just listen to a little bit of him doing it because he's good at it. He knows a lot of facts.
Very short period of time. Early next year, we should be up to 450, and very shortly after that, over 500
Hey, Eddie.
We should be gone by then.
completed.
We do our job.
But it's had a tremendous impact.
Make
But
them
again,
stairs.
we've had
Yeah.
the best numbers. The last thing we want now with this pandemic is for people to come across our southern border. And again, we're doing record numbers, meaning record low numbers. So I just want to thank everybody, and I want to introduce Admiral Guar. If you could, please come up, and
Guar.
Brad, if you would, Brad Smith. And they're
GWA.
going to do a little explaining as to what we've done with regard to testing and how successful it's been. And then we'll take some questions after that. Thank you very much.
Stunning.
Well, thank you, Mr. President, for your leadership and for your high expectations that really made this all come together.
Oh, they're
For the
separating the speakers now from Trump now that the virus is inside the White House. I get it.
For providing his leadership at HHS and allowing both Brad and I the opportunity to work on this project. I think it's clear that America does lead the world in testing. I'll go through some of the charts that show that we lead quantitatively. I will also suggest that we lead in the diversity of tests, which are very important to establish the testing ecosystem to keep America safe. And clearly, as we've said multiple times, no one beats America when it comes to quality.
Guys, I want to be really clear about this. Trump's stated goal of 12 million tests in May, if we achieve it, would only be 80% of the minimum that we were trying to get to a month and a half ago. Okay, if it goes well, we're still 20% short.
We'll top over 9 million.
You had diverticulitis. I've got diverticulitis. It's horrible. It's what I think I have right now. But the cannabis is helping me as soon as I start smoking it. So someone said make them stairs. It was Karen Michelle. Thank you. Or Karen, yeah, Michelle. She said make them stairs. I had stairs. I forgot. So I got his old stairs I used to use when he was a puppy so he could get up on the couch. I figured they're too short for the bed. But they might be big enough for him to take that leap to get down on the floor. And I think he's going to do it. I left him up there, and I put the stairs in front of him, and I think he's going to try. Hey, Rogan, if you come down here, I'll give you a cookie. All right, here it is. Quarter of the hour. Cannabis Tisms for all. No law regarding cannabis. Cheers.
Tests, and if you look at per capita, everyone talks about South Korea being the standard.
Not anymore.
Today, we will have done more than twice their per capita rate of testing.
So I hate to keep interrupting, but you guys need to understand. South Korea has no cases anymore. They have no one to test. There's no symptoms. I mean, not literally, but South Korea dealt with this 6 weeks ago. So now, continuing to compare to South Korea, we're 41st in testing per capita. South Korea itself is not really the important thing now.
The authorization by the FDA under the leadership of our secretary.
It's a false equivalent.
Of many different diagnostic tests, of diagnostic devices, and now of serology tests. So you've heard a lot about the different testing, and you see some of the machines up here. Most of the diagnostic tests, all but one, rely on the amplification of the viral RNA, the viral genetic material. And we've talked to you about the diversity of tests. They're very high.
I think I've heard about them as much about testing as I need to fucking hear.
But very importantly, there are also tests, and you heard us talk about Cepheid, delivering over 2 million tests. Vitally important to rural Americas and to places that do not have very large infrastructure. You've also seen the Abbott test we've talked about.
Fuck the testing here. I want to hear it. I want to listen to the windbag. I like to listen to David Pakman.
But has really been the chief operating officer to make all of this come together. Brad?
Rogan, come here.
Thank you, Admiral. I want to talk through a little bit specifically the work that we've been doing with the states. So as the Admiral mentioned, over the past few weeks, we've been working with each state to set a target for their testing goal for May. Over the series of a couple of different calls, we've aligned on what those goals are. And as the Admiral mentioned and the President mentioned, they add up to over 12.9 million tests in the month of May. For every state, this is greater than...
Rogan, come here. Come on. Come. Rogan, come.
2% of their population in the entire state being tested in May, and for many states, it's a much higher number than that. When you compare this, as the President mentioned, to South Korea is actually below that 2%, not for a month, but for their total tests to date since the start of the year. And so our states have come together to set really ambitious goals that we're excited to support them in meeting. If you go to the next slide. As I talked about last time in the press briefing, there are really 3 parts to making sure that a test can happen. The first part is the specimen collection supplies, the second part is the machines, and the third part are the lab supplies that the machines need to run. And what we've been working to do is to make sure that each state has all 3 of those parts to be able to conduct the number
California's
of tests.
number one
The
in
first part
testing.
is the specimen collection supplies.
Let me stop right
The
here.
commercial market.
How many times have you heard Donald Trump or Republicans or right-leaning assholes put down people that live in California? Oh, fuck those people in California, those liberal motherfuckers. How many times have you heard that, right? Right now, Donald Trump, the fucking grand wizard of the goddamn Republican Party, is that a good one? Yeah, I got that off the radio yesterday. I thought it was great. Is telling the world that testing is the most important thing and that America is great because they're number one in testing. So what does that make California? Who's number one in testing? Oh, you fucking right-wingers out there, suck my cock.
Today is providing
California
a large number of
fucking
these
eats you
supplies already to
alive.
states and are ready to hospitals.
I'm gonna go get Rogan
But
off
we
the
wanted
bed.
to ensure
Hopefully-
that every state had more than what they needed to be able to conduct the number of tests they're aiming in May. So what we've done is we've purchased enough tests to support the state testing goals for May and June. So we will be sending more than 12.9 million swabs and over 10 million media to the states over the course of May, and a similar or greater number over the course of June. In addition, we have several million in reserve, so if states are able to exceed their goal in the 3rd and 4th week of May, we can provide them even more swabs and transport media. And again, this is in addition to what's already available in the commercial market. If you go to the next slide. There are large numbers, it's been talked about many times, a large number of testing machines across the country, over 5,000 different machines that can conduct these tests. The key part is making sure that the machines and that the labs have enough supplies to run the machines. There will be, in the month of May, commercially produced over 25 million test kits, which is either the PCR and extraction kits or the cartridges, to be able to support tests in their effort, states in their testing effort. And what we've been working to do with each state is understand their total goal. And each of the manufacturers has been a great partner with us and told us how many tests they're shipping to each
Oh, happy
lab in each
420.
state
It's
over the course
420.
of May.
Cheers, everybody.
And what we know is that in the aggregate, the number of test kits the state is getting is greater than their testing goal for the month of May. In addition to what the states have already purchased, there's over 7 million additional tests that remain unpurchased, the majority of those from Thermo Fisher, which is the most common machine in the country. So we feel very confident the states will not only have the specimen collection
Bill, regarding
supplies
cannabis, happy
and the
420, everybody.
machines, but also
Cheers.
the extraction
Cannabis isn't just
kits
for
and
all.
the reagents they need to be able to hit or potentially exceed their testing goals. And if you go to the last slide, the last piece of the puzzle is making sure that Americans have access to these tests. Healthcare providers, hospitals, primary care physicians are already providing these tests today. And we, for the past 6 or 7 weeks, have been partnered with the retailers who have massively been ramping up their effort. Today, there are over 240 retail sites. We've been working with the retailers to make sure that they're specifically targeting low-income and other vulnerable communities across the country. And we are talking with them about potentially opening more than another 1,000 additional sites over the next month or two. So we hope that we've put together the right pieces of the puzzle, having access points for patients and Americans across the country, having the specimen collection supplies needed to take the test, having the machines, and then also having the lab testing supplies with the machines. So thank you very much.
All important stuff, all good stuff, if it happens, and all happening way too late.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen.
That's a good point. Way too late when he says that.
You can't hear me.
Way too
We had a
late.
situation here at the White House on Friday where a member of the Vice President's staff tested positive for coronavirus, which has now caused 3 of the top U.S. officials involved in the coronavirus response to self-isolate. Two-part question: where did the system break down to allow that to happen? And what would you say to
Nowhere.
employers to look at the experience here at the White House and say, are we ready for this?
I don't think the system broke down at all. One person tested positive, surprisingly, because the previous day tested negative.
Right, at some
And
point
3
you get the
people that
virus.
were in contact, relative contact, who I believe they've all tested totally negative, but they are going to, for a period of time, self-isolate, so that's not breaking
Totally
down.
negative.
It can happen. It's the hidden enemy. Remember that. It's the hidden enemy. So things happen, but the 3 tested negative.
Hey, Sarah, if you really don't think that where you are, it can be 420 at 20 minutes past, then don't smoke along. That's all. Yeah.
The one who tested positive
We
will be
smoke
fine.
every
Will be
20
absolutely
minutes
fine.
past is
John?
420 for us on this show. Every.
Other companies who may look at this and say,
Every.
I don't know if we're ready.
If it says 20 minutes
Well, I
past,
think,
it
yeah,
doesn't
we had a
matter
lot of
where you
people
are.
in the
It's
White House, and
420.
We had one. Basically, we had one person.
actually
So
three, but-
we had a lot of people that work here. This building is shocking if you looked at the numbers, and it's also tremendous numbers of people coming in. Normally, you wouldn't do that.
Tremendous numbers
But
of
because
people
we're running
coming
a
in.
country, we want to keep our country running. So we have a lot of
Oh.
people coming in and out. Many of those people, most of those people are tested depending on what portion of the Oval Office
I
area
did.
they're going in. Everybody coming into the president's office gets tested, and I felt no vulnerability.
Good,
whatsoever,
you smoked
John.
along, good.
The two people, as I said, and three people they have been tested, and it's negative, and they'll be probably out of quarantine very quickly.
Wow, this guy doesn't know anything.
John?
If I can follow up on that, your staff, your senior staff, as you just referenced, is able to get tested every day. When will it be that Americans across the country will be able to get tested every day as they go back
Now.
to work?
Very soon. I mean, really very soon.
Very
It's
soon.
an interesting question because
Interesting
normally
question.
you would have said
Question.
that you are not tested, and
You're
you
not
would have
tested.
been, knocking us for not getting tested. So
Not
if we
getting
get
tested.
tested,
You get
it's a
tested.
problem, and if we don't get tested,
don't get
it's a
tested.
problem.
We don't get
But I
tested.
like the way your question was phrased better this way, because it is a
Better this way.
positive. We are
It's a
tested,
positive.
we have great capability.
Great-
You look at
great
all of these machines here,
Oh
they're
my
incredible
God.
These
machines.
machines.
They're
He's like,
best anywhere in the world. No place in the world has this kind of equipment. Other
Cool
countries are
products
calling
and machines.
sophisticated countries, and they're calling lots of countries, and we're trying to make as much as we
Money.
can available
Oh,
to them,
oh,
because there's
sorry.
nothing like what
Sorry.
we've been able to
Nothing
do in
like what we've been able to
literally a couple of months. What they've
Literally a
been
couple
able to
months.
do, the private sector, how they got it
How
done.
they-
This is a
how they got it.
5 to 15 minute test, as an example, the Abbott Laboratories test.
Notice Trump's pointing to test. Question is when is everyone going to be able to get tested every day?
This is things that didn't even exist a short while ago. So we do have a great testing capability at the
or-
White House. We're doing it, and I think generally speaking, we had a call with the governors the other day. Generally speaking,
They loved it.
without exception, they were all extremely happy with what's going on with respect to their testing.
Where the fuck is David Honey
If people
Sr.?
are told to go back to work until they have that assurance that they and their coworkers are able to get a
Yeah.
test, which we're still not there.
We're leaving that up to the governors, as you know, and if we see something wrong, we'll call them out and we'll stop it.
And it'll be their
But we are
fault,
leaving
most
it up to
importantly.
the governors. Some are being not aggressive enough, in my opinion, and some are being a little bit aggressive, but they're being very careful. And the people of the country, they've learned a lot over the last 2 months. They've learned about social distancing and washing your hands and other things that we've all learned and talked about. They've learned about, I see everybody, just about everybody has a face mask on.
He
They've
does.
learned about face masks, the good and the bad, by the way. It's not a one-sided thing, believe it or not. But our country has learned. Our country's been
The
incredible.
bad of the face.
And you see the numbers, they're dropping very substantially. The numbers are dropping around our
Dropping.
country very, very substantially. So we leave that, John, up to the governors, and I think they're making a lot of good decisions. We've
Dude.
had, as I said, a great relationship with governors, Democrat and Republican, and I think overall they're making very good decisions.
Are the numbers dropping a lot?
Nobody understood. All the ones behind the rope, that's interesting. Please.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. You said in your comments earlier, we have met the moment, we have prevailed. To you, sir, is the mission accomplished, even with 1.4
No, we
million?
prevailed on testing is what I'm referring to. That was with regard to testing.
Oh, okay.
You never prevail when you have 90,000 people, 100,000
Talk
people.
about moving the
When
goalposts.
you have
Now you
80,000
never,
people,
now you
1,000
can't
people, when you
win.
have
Mr.
50,000
Winning. No, you
cancers,
can't
like
win.
that, when you have potentially
Come on,
millions of
David,
people
call that
throughout the
shit out.
world That are dying,
never-
that's not prevail. What
you
I'm
never
talking
prevail.
about is
What?
We have a great testing capacity
Mr. fucking
now.
Winning? What?
It's getting even better. There's nobody close to us in the world, and we certainly have done a great job on testing. And testing is a very big, important function. By the way, some people consider it more important than others, to be honest with you. But testing certainly is a very important function, and we have prevailed. We have the best equipment anywhere in the world.
Listen to
Okay,
that.
please. Yeah.
Some people consider testing more important than others. Okay, what people for what? Like, it's a meaningless thing to throw in there.
Still technology related to
you need to go
vaccine
outside,
research.
buddy?
Is this
Okay,
something you're
okay.
concerned
He's
about?
telling me he's got to go outside.
What can you say?
So what else is new with China? What else is new? Tell me. I'm not happy with China. They should have stopped this
China.
at the source. They could have stopped it right at the source.
China.
So now you're telling me they're hacking. So I just say this, Steve, what else is new?
Come here, buddy.
We're
Sir.
watching it very closely.
If I could follow up, sir, the South China Morning Post, the Beijing newspaper, says that China would like to reopen negotiations on the trade deal to make the terms more favorable to them. Is this something you'd be interested in doing?
No, not at all. Not even a little bit, no. I'm not interested.
Hey, there's
They
an
signed
answer.
the
I
deal.
like that.
I had heard that too. They'd like to reopen the trade talk to make it a better deal for them. China's been taking advantage of the United States for many, many years, for decades, because we had people at this position right here where I'm standing, sitting right in that office, the Oval Office, that allowed that to happen. No,
Right.
I'm not interested in that. Let's see if they live up to the deal that they signed. Okay? Please, go ahead.
Mr. President, what are your thoughts about a second round of direct payments to Americans that's included in the House Democratic bill?
Well, we're
Everybody
talking
got
about that with
$1,200,
a lot of
everybody's
different
good.
people. I want to see a payroll tax cut. I want to see various things that we want. I want the workers to be taken care of. But we are talking about that. We're negotiating with the Democrats. We'll see what happens. But as I said, it's a transition, and this is really going to be, in my opinion, we'll see. But I think it's going to be something that's going to be very special. It's a transition to greatness. And greatness is next year, right from the beginning. I think we're going to do fantastically well. I view the third quarter, as I said, as a transition quarter. Could be pretty good, but
Let's
it's a
hope he's gone
transition
by
quarter.
next year.
Toward the end of the fourth quarter, you're going to see some numbers that are going to be tremendous, I think. And next year, you're going to have potentially the kind of numbers that you saw before, and maybe even better, because there is that pent-up demand that is, a lot of people wanted to do things, they were ready to do things, and they've had to hold back because of the virus. So I think you're going to have, with that pent-up demand, a phenomenal year next year, unless somebody messes it up by coming along and raising taxes, doubling, tripling, quadrupling your taxes, like a certain party, namely the Democrats, want to
Quadrupling
do.
people's
You'll
taxes.
mess it
Can you
all up.
imagine?
We had the greatest in the world. I presided, this administration presided over it. It got great for a reason, and we'll do it again, and we'll do it again very quickly and very easily. I see that happening. Yes, ma'am, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. Almost everyone, as you noted, in the Rose Garden is wearing a mask today. Why haven't you required everyone at the White House to wear masks before now?
Well, if they're a certain distance from me, or if they're a certain distance from each other, they do. In the case of me, I'm not close to anybody. I'd like to be close to these two gentlemen. They're hardworking, great men, but they just said, frankly, let's keep it this way. So
So there's a
obviously,
lot of reports about Trump thinks it'll hurt his reelection to be seen wearing a mask, and he thinks he'll look dumb. That's the truth.
one of them, from what I see, these are White House staffers, they're White House representatives, they're White House executives, and everybody has a mask on. We've had just about everybody I've seen today has worn a mask. Yeah.
Were you the
Please
one
go
who
ahead.
required that, sir?
Yeah, I did. I required it. Yes.
Yeah.
Please.
Does anyone believe that?
President,
He
you're not
required
promising that everyone who needs a test will be able to get one at some point soon. Can you give us some figures on what you're changing?
You gotta
in
cover
terms
your
of
nose there.
testing? When will that be a true statement exactly, and how exactly are you going to accomplish that?
Well, it's a true statement already. We have more testing than any country in the world by far, but I'll let Admiral go into a little bit of the future.
When you look at the testing numbers that we worked with collaboratively with the state leadership, it's not just with the governor, but the state health officers, the state epidemiologists, the public health labs. It's really a combination of testing those who need something for diagnosis, diagnostic testing, tracing, so testing those who have been around the people with a diagnosis. But the largest fraction of that is really moving into surveillance. That is testing those who are asymptomatic. And when you do the numbers, this amount of testing on a state-to-state basis really is in the range that we need to accomplish all of that, certainly within the range.
Man, the numbers are trending downward. There's a trend downward in the United States, which is really good, man. Let's just see what happens here over the next week, because people got crazy last week, you know? Or pass on attorney. What? Dude, if you have a problem, contact me via PayPal or contact me via my email. But don't come on here, dude, with your bullshit. Are you fucking kidding me? Did you actually just threaten me with a fucking lawyer? Did you just threaten me with a lawsuit? Or pass on attorney if needed? You know what? Mosaic, suck my dick. You can go take it to fucking PayPal, okay? Go take it to fucking PayPal. I don't know what your fucking problem is, but suck my dick, you fucking piece of shit. Wow. Wow, people got some fucking nerve. One 1% of the United States population has antibodies, says the baseball league. Past a fucking lawyer. Suck my dick. Pass it off to your fucking lawyer, you fucking idiot. Jesus fucking Christ. Yeah, pass that fucking $35 fucking order off to your fucking lawyer. Oh, was there something waiting for him at the post office? Is that what that was about? James, I didn't even understand it. Motherfucker couldn't even put a goddamn sentence together. Somebody else had a problem with an order. They never got theirs. Well, guess what? They forgot to send me their address. And I didn't realize that. I thought they were just sending me money for an order that I must have given to someone by hand. And that they just logged in and sent me $35, which would have been cool. But no, they wanted an order and they never sent me an address, so it got overlooked. And when they wanted their order, I went to send it to them. And I go, oh, you never sent your address. It took a whole other day for them to finally get me their address so I could get it out with the rest of the orders that were going out. And it did go out. Dude, what a dumbass. What a dumbass. Dude, I've sent out thousands of dollars worth of orders, and let me tell you something. No one's got a problem. No one's got a problem with it. No one. And if they did, they'd contact me and they wouldn't come on here. And the people who have get fucking shut down pretty quick. But you're going to say that shit to me over a fucking $35 item? Fuck you. Go fucking call your lawyer. Go get your lawyer. And you know what? I'll refer them to PayPal. Because PayPal protects me from shit like you. So, James, was it that all he had to do was go to the post office and pick it up? Was that a notification to come get your shit? Was that what that was? I don't even know. I've had people had to go to the post office to pick up boxes before. Hey, sometimes it happens. So anyway, what I was telling you was the cases are trending downward in America. And it's a relief. It's nice to see. I want you guys to see that too. So hold on a second, I'll show you. So look at that. That is definitely a pattern trending downward. Cases in the United States. Oh boy. The United States is the #1 provider of cases in the world. So if the United States is trending downward, then the world is trending downward. Fucking should have never mentioned his lawyer. I would have fucking solved his problem right now. Whatever it was. You fucking mentioned goddamn what? We just fucking threaten me with a lawyer? Suck my dick, son. Hey, read my shirt. Yeah, I know you might have a problem with words. It seems like you do. But read those two. All I do is fucking help people, and this is the way people treat me. You know, suck my dick. What the fuck kind of a response did you think you were gonna get, you fucking prick? Well, I think I saw an order. It said some weird name. It said something after it. And I was like, I wonder what that means. I'd never seen that before. I wonder if that was his order. I don't know, but they all got a return address on them. If he doesn't go get it, it'll come back to me. I've only had one order. I've been doing this for years, literally. I've sent out hundreds, probably over 1,000 orders. And I've got the only order that ever came back to me. I still have it in the box, unopened, sitting here. I've had it forever. Fucking fake address. Boom. There it is. There it is. Still in the box. Already fucking shipped and then shipped back to me. Shipped back to me. Right here. Unopened. Because I waited for them to try to get in touch with me so I could get it to them. That's why I never opened their box. You know? The one order out of all the hundreds of orders I've shipped out. Dude, like I said, if a lawyer contacts me, I'll say, you can reference my representative PayPal. They take care of my business for me. You got a problem, pick it up with them. Fuck you. Over $35, a lawyer's gonna laugh. You know what the lawyer's gonna do? They're gonna do, dude, here's $35. Let me do you a favor. All right, get the fuck out of my office. You fucking pussy. You know, out of that $35, PayPal takes like $3. I get 32 right off the bat. Boom. Then I got to pay your postage. That's $4 or less, a little less usually. It's usually $3.50, something like that. Boom. Gone. Now I had to pay for the box. I had to pay for the stickers that the postage goes on. Had to pay for the ink that goes into my printer. By the way, is one of the most expensive expenses for everything I do. For printing up your labels. Dude, I don't care. Take me to court over something that happened between you and the post office. It's fucking hilarious. What? Oh, you mean you just put up evidence that the package arrived? And so what's the fucking lawsuit, you idiot? What exactly are you charging me with? The fact that your shit arrived and you're too much a pussy to go pick it up? What? How about I countersue you, bro? I got a lawyer. How about that? How about I sue you for fucking trying to sully the name of my company on my live stream? How about that? You want to fuck with me? Call my lawyer up and be like, hey, I think I got a defamation thing going on. And by the way, I want to look into this Twitter thing too while we're talking. Both of them defamation. I want to sue him. I want to sue him. I want to sue him for damages. I want to sue him for 10,000. I think I'll sue him for 10 grand. What do you think? What do you think we could get out of him? Just to fuck with him. What did you miss? I didn't miss shit, Brian. I don't know what you're talking about, pal. I don't miss much around here. Psh, unreal. Actually, I miss much around here. Actually, I do. I do miss much around here. It goes pretty quick, and you got to keep up. And I'm trying to get high here. Hey, what the fuck? I'm trying to smoke along and shit, and this guy, he's getting involved in all of this bullshit. Oh, I got you. I figured that's what you meant. So you guys see this trend downward right here? Look, I Ron Placoned it. I just Ron Placoned it. Look, guys, that is the line that I see going on in the United States. And that is definitely a fucking trend downward. You know? So I wanted you guys to see that because it's relieving to see, you know, when you look at what's really going on. Cheers. No law regarding cannabis. Happy quarter of the hour. Cannabisism, tisms for all. You should watch my show every time I do a show, Brian.
The other thing I would say is,
cheers,
particularly
guys.
as we move into the summer, there are surveillance mechanisms, and I talked about them before, like a weather radar. And just think about that weather radar. The influenza-like illness network, which is at about 75% of healthcare institutions, and syndromic surveillance. So if we see a blip on that weather radar, combined with CDC personnel in every single state, and with contact tracers, we really run to the fire, right? And that's when you detect, you trace, and you shut off that outbreak right when it starts.
Mr. President, there does seem to be a double standard here, Mr. President, where members of your own staff can get tests frequently when they need it, but ordinary Americans cannot. So when will the rest of America have the same access that members of your own White House
He's not going to answer. They keep asking.
And you know what? If we didn't get the tests, if we did no tests in the White House, you'd be up complaining, why aren't you getting tests for the White House? See, we can't win because if we didn't get the test, you'd be up. I understand.
That was a really good answer, actually.
Yourself. And frankly,
Trump has an art
you'd be up complaining about
of answering questions, of taking a question, throwing it back in somebody's face.
And so quick and so
and
fast.
that's what it's like playing volleyball.
And so accurate.
You're
complaining that we're getting too many tests. So you can't win. Go ahead, Phil.
Go ahead, Phil.
Idiot.
Mr. President, many Americans
What an idiot
want
he
to
says.
return to their normal lives, but they're afraid to do so. How can you ensure Americans that it's safe to go to their own workplaces when the most secure workplace in the country, the White House, cannot contain the spread of the coronavirus that's infected some of your own staff?
Well, when you say some, so we have a person, and the person got something happened right after a test was done. 3 other people met that person, came into relative contact, very little contact, and they're self-quarantining. That is not exactly not controlling it. I think we've controlled it very well. We have hundreds and hundreds of people a day pouring into the White House. It's a massive.
He sounds like he's talking about the border. They're pouring in.
Right behind us.
They're pouring in the border,
I think we're really
bringing in the
doing a very good
corona,
job
and I'm stopping them with my wall. 840 miles we built.
Part of the reason it is because of all the tests we're able to give. But it was one person, and the other people were only people that quarantined.
My penis is this big.
So they're quarantined for a specific reason. The
It
reason
got
is
cut
they
off when
were
I was a child.
in the general proximity of the one person, and the one person, I believe, will be fine in a very short period of time.
Short period of
Vice
time.
President Pence
Short
follow the
period of time.
CDC guidelines of self-isolation
Short period of time.
and other people who might have been exposed
Well,
to
that
this.
I'm going to have to ask that he will give you that information, whatever he is.
Is there people sitting
proceeding
right by
to
the
do,
microphone?
He will give you that information.
Or am I imagining that, or is that just the angle?
Mr. President, up until now, it's thought that the most vulnerable people were those above the age of 60 or 70 or 80, and the children were pretty much, I don't want to say immune from this, but weren't affected by it. But all day long in the news today, we have been hearing and seeing this terrible syndrome that some 85 children have now. 3 of them have died. What is the task force talking about in terms of that, and what could be done about it?
We're seeing that all over the world now with young children. Very, very tiny percentage, but it's the swelling and the skin rash.
Marty,
and we're looking at that
right
very
on.
closely, John. It's a phenomena that's just been brought to everyone's
You're
attention
welcome.
a couple of weeks ago. Edmund, you may have something to say about that.
So thank you for pointing that out. And again, I've said many times, I'm a pediatrician and a pediatric ICU doctor. This syndrome, which we call, or similar to Kawasaki syndrome, it has been seen in a novel coronavirus before, and it's associated with illnesses. So we have a very strong activation on this. We do know treatments for this, but the CDC is interacting actively with the Pediatric Intensive Care Unit network to create case definitions and to understand how this is going and if there are predispositions. The National Heart, Lung, and Blood Institute, I spoke to Dr. Gary Gibbons, who directs that, who is advancing many research projects based on that. The ASPR, the Assistant Secretary for Preparedness and Response, has a team out in several areas looking at if there are any special treatments. We know what the basic treatment is, but this is a little bit different than we normally see. So there really is an activation among all the branches within HHS, working with networks.
It's Newfoundland 420, guys.
ICU nets. It is a small percentage, but it is quite frightening. And this reflects the fact that this virus affects the vasculature. We see clotting, we see strokes. And this is a vascular.
Turned it over onto the green side.
We see in children.
Turned on to the green side. Turned on to the green side.
What do you say to parents
turned on to the
who
green
would like
side
to
of
get
my
their children back
cannabis.
to
All right.
school, but are now
No law regarding
looking at
cannabis.
this
Cannabis
and
isn't just for all.
potentially
Cheers,
afraid to do
everybody.
that?
Well, again, it's a tiny percentage, but you're right. So we're looking into it very strongly. And the Admiral, as he said,
In
he's
3
known
months
about
we'll
this
hear
for
something about that.
long before this happened. But it is a very, very small percentage. And people recover from that. The children recover from that. Right?
Yes, sir. Most do recover from this, but it is a serious and it can be a fatal condition.
Oh, people can die.
So, we do want to make sure that parents understand that high fevers, red rashes, particularly in your child, you may need to contact your healthcare provider. There are treatments for this. They work very effectively if gotten early, at least for the vast majority of the cases.
We're studying that very closely. And
Right.
It's been on the radar for weeks, actually, because we've seen this for quite a while. But
Trump was on the
it's
ball
been
with it.
very rare, but we're looking at it very closely.
We're
It's
going
very
to
important
freeze
us.
people.
I
We're going to
think one of
build
the things
giant
we're most
freezers.
proud of is,
We're going to throw them
the
inside
system
these
of
freezers,
death per
and we're going to
100,000
freeze the
people
virus
death.
to death.
So deaths
Yeah,
for 100,000
and then we're going to fill the
people. Germany
pews
and the
for
United
Christmas,
States are
because everybody's going to
at
be all
the
icy looking.
lowest rung of
Because
that
they will have
ladder,
been in
meaning
freezers.
Low is a positive, not a negative.
It will be beautiful.
Germany, the
It will be a
United
beautiful
States are the two
Christmas.
best
December.
in deaths
That's
per
going to be our month,
100,000
December.
people.
And the
As you all
people
can
will
see,
fill the
which very
pews,
much not-
and they'll
It's
worship
perhaps the
their
most important
savior,
number there is. Please
me.
go on the back, please.
Donald J. Trump.
Thank you.
Not looking good, is
Mr.
it?
President, I have two
Yeah.
questions, one on the Ahmaud Arbery case and one on the coronavirus. The first on the coronavirus, the vice president is said to be in some sort of self-isolating, keeping his distance from people. What do you say to Americans who say, how can you keep me safe? How can you reopen the government if even the vice president is self-isolating? And why hasn't testing
Pence
gotten
isn't,
up
I don't think,
to the point where every American who wants a test can get a test?
Well, the vice president, first of all, has been tested, and he's negative, and it was tested yesterday, tested today, and he's negative. He's in very good shape, and I think that that's going to be fine. As far as Americans getting a test, they should all be able to get a test right now. They
I
should
don't
be
need to
able
wear
get
a mask,
test.
though.
That's the problem with
I
the
don't need to
question
set an
like that.
example
We
for
go
my
through a whole-
Why does he not get it? He says maybe we'll do 12 million tests in May and everyone can get a test. Well, of course that's not true. There's 331 million people here. How can you say if we do everything perfectly, 12 million will get tested in May, and everyone can get a test. Doesn't make sense.
I think it's horrible. And
Well
it's
said,
certainly
Marty.
been looked at by many people. I'm speaking to many people about it. He looked, I saw the picture of him in his tuxedo. It was so beautiful. I mean, he looks like a wonderful young guy. Would have been a wonderful, just a wonderful guy. I think it's a horrible thing. Now, with that being said, as you know, they're studying the case very carefully. They're interviewing everybody involved.
Like
and
this.
We'll see what happens. To me, it's a very sad thing. I spoke to a number of people that are very much involved in it. I've been following that one very closely. It breaks your heart to watch it. It breaks your heart. And certainly the video was a terrible looking video to me. But you have a lot of people looking at it, and hopefully an answer is going to be arrived at very quickly. But it's something that is heartbreaking.
Question about the case, if I could ask it.
Go ahead.
The specific question I have is, you said that there possibly are things that happened that were not recorded on the tape. Could you expound on what you mean by that and your thoughts?
Yeah. Well, I saw the tape, and when they moved left, when they moved left outside of the tape, nobody saw what was going on. Nobody saw. It's an empty spot on the tape, I guess. Now, do they have additional tapes? I hope. But I will say that it's something that, based on what I saw, doesn't look good. Somebody that I have a lot of respect for is Senator Scott of South Carolina. You know who I'm talking about. He's a great gentleman. He's a great senator. He's a great gentleman. Tim Scott. And I called him 2 days ago. I said, Tim, what do you think? Tell me. What do you think?
He called Tim Scott because Tim Scott is black. This happened in Georgia. He's like, hey, I know a black guy. He's a senator from South Carolina. Let me call him and see what he thinks, because he happens to be black.
Questions, one on testing and one on Democratic states that you tweeted about. First, the money for this new testing support today comes from the CARES Act, which you signed into
There's
law
no
2
limit
days
to what
ago.
comes out of that man's
Does
mouth.
your delay in embracing widespread testing have anything to
It's
do with the
no
desire
filter. It's
to
just, he's
suppress
such a
the
douchebag.
official number
You
of
just
US
want to,
cases and deaths as you
you
try
just
to
want to
reopen the
stuff
country?
something in his mouth, and so it never gets out of there, so he can't make another word ever. You know, like maybe this jar. Maybe this jar of cannabis oil, like just stuff it right in his mouth. Just perfectly, kind of tap it in there with a hammer, tap, tap, so it just falls behind his teeth, so he can never talk again.
Everything was in place. Okay, go ahead.
And earlier today, you
I think
stated
that would be
that
perfect.
Democrats are moving slowly for political
Tap, tap,
purposes.
tap.
Why do you believe that
Oh,
their
click.
motive is
Oh, it's
politics
perfect.
rather than public safety? And how do you respond to criticism that you're also motivated by politics to try to grow the economy ahead of the election?
Well, I think that if you look at Pennsylvania as an example, if you look at various other states, I won't get into them, the people want to go back. The numbers are getting to a point where they can, and there just seems to be no effort on certain.
The idea that Trump could actually answer a question with multiple clauses within it, I mean, it's just, Trump can't do it.
Our country open. I want our country open too. I want it open safely, but I want it open. Don't forget, people are dying the other route. You can go with the enclosed route. Everything's closed up. You're in your house. You're not allowed to move. People are dying with that too. You look at drug addiction. You look at suicides.
Drug addiction.
You look at some of the things that are taking place. People are dying that way too. You could make the case it's in even greater numbers. So it's it's a situation that some people, and I've noticed that some states could be moving more quickly, and also at the same time safety. Look, safety is paramount, but people are dying in the lockdown position too.
Give me the hammer.
And everybody understands that. They're just starting to find out.
Yeah.
And look
Some
at
of
what's
them
going
from the
on with
virus.
drugs, and look at what's happening with suicides.
Suicides.
Please go ahead.
Suicides. Please go ahead.
Mr. President, so Americans have been self-quarantining for several months now, social distancing, yet we're still seeing about 20,000 new cases a day, 1,000 to 2,000 deaths. Is there anything else the administration is planning to do to get these new cases under control? Because we seem to be on a plateau. Or is this just
Well, excuse me, the 20,000, the numbers are way down from what they were 2 weeks ago. I mean, the numbers are really coming down and very substantially.
The numbers are coming down.
Was one of the lowest we've had.
If there's
This
a
is,
trend
the
of it
numbers are
coming
coming
down.
very rapidly.
Not
all throughout
rapidly.
the country, by the
It's
way.
a
There may be one
gradual.
exception, But all throughout the
Anybody
country, the
agree?
numbers are coming down rapidly.
It's
I think you
it's
see that.
gradual.
Oh, yeah, but
Yeah, it's gradual. David Pacman's not showing you.
Cases that go through August.
David Pacman's
Is that,
Yeah, it's
do you
not
agree
cases.
with those models? Is that
It
your
is going
expectation?
down.
The models haven't been exactly accurate. These are models done by a lot of
Look,
think tanks,
I'm gonna
a
show
lot
you
of
guys something,
universities.
okay?
You look at some of the models
Look.
have been way off. Few
This
of
is
the
what
models
David
have been
Pacman doesn't want to show
accurate,
you.
but, as
Look
far as
at
the
this.
models are concerned, if
Look
you
at
go by the
this.
model,
Look at
we
this.
were gonna lose
Look at
2.2
this.
million
Look
people.
at this.
If he did
And
nothing.
Look
because
at
we
this.
we
This is a
mitigated, we
trend
did
going
things that were
down,
very tough
okay?
for our
That's what this
country
is.
to do, frankly, we had to turn off our whole magnificent economy.
And
We had to turn
David
down the
Pacman
whole
doesn't want to
country.
look
We're
at that part of the scale. That's
the
what
lowest
shows
of
you
all of the
what the
models.
trend
I mean, if you
is.
look at, I
And
guess
the
there's
trend
120,
is that it's
100,
dropping.
So remember,
It's
that's not
the-
true.
I
Trump
sh-
was talking about 60K.
I showed you. I
or
Ron
80K,
Placone did a little bit.
100K. The model says 135K. We're not at
Hard
the
to do.
lowest. He's lying. He's lying to you uncontrollably.
And to lose for this is too many people. It's a disgrace what happened.
It's
But
a
if you
gradual
look at the
drop, though.
models, we're at the lowest of those projections. But the models are not models done necessarily by the White House. They're models done by many people all over the world. And if you take the most respected of those
And
people,
let's see
many
what
of
the-
those
how the
models
world
are
cases
wrong.
must be doing
they've been
better,
wrong
too.
as far as the U.S. is concerned, because those numbers are nowhere near what was projected potentially.
Expectation of what the death toll is gonna look like.
80,300 deaths, guys, in the
You know
United
what?
States.
I don't want to think about it.
It's
even.
actually
I know that we're
80,500,
doing
I'm
everything
sure.
we
Think
can.
about
We're doing a
it.
good
Oh my
job. We
God.
acted very early.
Dude, that's his
We
job.
acted extremely early in keeping
What
China
on earth?
out of our country and
I don't
banning
wanna think
people
about
from China coming in. Think about it even. People all over the world. And if you take the most respected of those people, many of those models are wrong. I mean, they've been wrong as far as the U.S. is concerned, because those numbers are nowhere near what was projected potentially.
Expectation of what the death toll is gonna look like by the summer, by the.
You know what? I don't want to think about it even. I know that we're
He
doing
doesn't wanna
everything we
think
can.
about
We're doing a
it. Oh
good
my
job. We
God.
acted very early.
Dude,
Good
that's
job.
We
his
We
job.
acted
acted
very
extremely
early.
early in keeping
What on
China
earth?
out of our country and
I don't wanna
banning
think
people
about
from China coming in, other than our
Shouldn't be
citizens, which we
president.
obviously had to take, and they were
Dude.
quarantined or watched.
This is the thing is, it's true. The trend is going down right now. We had a really bad week last week. Let's see what happens over the next 7 days. Okay? That's not my point. My point is this. My point is the President of the United States should be saying everyone needs to stay home. We need to not be opening the country. We need to make this thing go away completely. Because the world 4.1 million global deaths, 285,700 global deaths. And this is, oh my goodness, there is no trend going down for the world. So what are you going to do? Lock the entire country down and not let people in? This is going to be impossible. Here, look at this. You guys got to see the world. Dude, there's the world, man. Now that's the world cases. There's no trend going down there. It is a complete flat line. That is a complete flat line. It's not good. Oh, there's a kitty cat in the window. There's a kitty cat over there.
Carefully, they were tested, they were watched very carefully. But we had about 40,000 people coming in from China, from Asia, and we had to obviously take the people. Can you imagine if I said you're a U.S. citizen, we're not going to take you? That doesn't work. So, but they were very carefully. I was with Ron DeSantis. He said they literally put the people that came in from China in quarantine for a substantial period of time. No, that was a big decision. I think we saved hundreds of thousands of lives by acting very early. And when I did this, I think the Admiral can say it, everybody was against my doing it. Everybody was. The professionals, the doctors. I was pretty much by myself on that one. And It was a lucky thing we did it because we saved hundreds of thousands of lives. Yeah, please, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. President. Earlier today, the Vice President urged governors to have all their nursing home residents tested. Why not just mandate that? Why not require that? Have you considered that?
Well, I would certainly consider that. I will mandate it if you'd like. I think it's important to do. And I think, frankly, some of the governors were very lax with respect to nursing homes. It was obvious right from the beginning. The state of Washington, where 26 or 28 people died very early on. And I would have said nursing homes, and I did say nursing homes. That's what they should. Now, some of the states, many of the states are doing that, but I think all of the states should be. They have the capacity to do it. They should be doing nursing home. That is a real vulnerability.
I said retirement community.
The two staffers that were announced last week as testing positive, are you aware of any additional White House staff?
No, not at all. I'm only aware of people that saw them, were tested, the tests were negative, and they're quarantining anyway. So, please, go ahead.
I wanted to ask, are you now, or are you considering separating some more with Vice President Pence as a precautionary measure?
Well, first of all, the job he's done on task force, the job he's done, frankly, as the Vice President of the United States has been outstanding. And he's a warrior too, just like doctors and nurses. I mean, he is working so hard, and he's coming into contact with a lot of people. But again, he tested negative, so we have to understand that. But he comes into contact with a lot of people. It's something probably during this quarantine period we'll probably talk about. I have not seen him since then, but I would say that he and I will be talking about that. Yeah, we can talk on the phone.
For Admiral Giroir, if I could. The President just said that Dr. Fauci, Dr. Hahn have tested negative. Then why do they need to be isolated? Is there some concern that they could be spreading the virus in some way? Is there a concern about the testing? Why do they need to?
Right, I mean, if Fauci and Pence both test negative, why are they doing
concept,
different
and
things?
I'm so happy you brought that up. Because it underlies a lot of the questions here. If you test negative just at that one point, that just means you've tested negative for that point in time. We know that the incubation period for this virus could be many days. So the CDC guidelines really says that if you're in close contact, just testing negative on that one day doesn't mean you won't be positive later on. So the prudent and the recommended thing to do is to self-isolate yourself for the entire period of incubation and really then some. So that's what they're doing. It's a precautionary manner because they were negative.
Then why not Pence?
We all hope that they remain negative, but if they turn positive in a day or two or became symptomatic, that's still possible even with a negative test.
Wow, with them they play better safe than sorry, but not with the United States people.
Mr. President, in
Too
one
bad
of
they
your
didn't treat us the
letters,
same
you
way.
appear to accuse President Obama of the biggest political crime in American history by far, like your words. What crime exactly are you accusing President Obama of committing, and do you believe the Justice Department should prosecute him?
Obamagate. It's been going on for a long time. It's been going on from before I even got elected, and it's a disgrace that it happened. And if you look at what's gone on, and if you look at now all of this information that's being released,
where's that in the
and from
criminal
what I
code?
understand, that's only the beginning. Some terrible things happened, and it should never be allowed to happen in our country again.
What's the crime?
And you'll be seeing what's going on over the coming weeks.
What
But
crime?
I wish you'd write honestly about it, but unfortunately, you choose not to do so. Yeah, John, please.
What is the crime exactly that you're accusing him of?
You know what the crime is. The crime is very obvious to everybody. All you have to do is read the newspapers, except yours.
No, we don't know
John,
what the
please.
crime is. What is the crime?
President, if I can just get a clarification on the testing. We've seen clearly that the numbers of tests have gone up. There have been some advancements in testing. But you've said twice here today that every American who wants a test can get a test.
Yes.
That's not the case. 1.9 million tests per day is far short of every American that wants a test to be able to.
Well, I didn't have the Admiral, but I will say just from listening and hearing like you do, we all do, not everybody should get a test because they have to have certain things and they're going to know when they're not.
So here's the deal. In May, we're going to test at most 12 million people. And everyone can get a test, even though 12 million is less than 331 million. But not everybody should get a test anyway, so then it doesn't even really matter how many tests we have.
Now in America, anybody who needs a test can get a test in America with the numbers we have. If you are symptomatic with a respiratory illness, that is an indication for a test, and you can get a test. If you need to be contact traced, you can get a test. And we hope, and not hope, we are starting to have asymptomatic surveillance, which is very important. Again, that's over 3 million tests per week. That is sufficient for everyone who needs a test, symptomatic, contact tracing.
That's a different story.
To our best projections, the asymptomatic
Only symptomatic.
kind of surveillance we need to get that, and that's the way it is. And remember, I work at HHS. I work there every day. I don't get tested every day. I get monitored for my symptoms. Am I febrile? Do I have any other symptoms? I wear a mask when I go in. That's a safe work environment for the environment we have. If I became symptomatic, I would get a test, and if it were positive, I would isolate it, and there'd be contact tracing to stop that, just the way it was done here. If I'm not symptomatic, I do the precautions as everyone is recommended in phase 1, and that's the essence of safely opening America.
And John, the numbers are coming way down, and they're coming down rapidly, and that's a beautiful thing to see.
That's not
That's
true.
pretty much universally all across the country. They're coming down very rapidly.
That's acutely
So,
not true.
Very important. Please, go ahead.
Admiral, if so Americans who are going back to work shouldn't expect and shouldn't want to have the same thing that people coming to work here at the White House have, which is the ability to get tested regularly, regardless of symptoms. Is that
So
what you're saying?
let me clarify as well.
Yeah.
People who come into close contact with the president get tested on a regular basis. Okay? If I were not in
Hey,
close
Robin.
contact with the president specifically, I would not get tested, like most people here do not get tested. That's a very specific circumstance. When I work at HHS, I go to HHS, I don't get tested. I do the exact thing that we ask Americans to do, to monitor your symptoms. If you are symptomatic, self-isolate, get tested. With one of our community-based testing sites at your hospitals, there are even at-home testing now that has been authorized. And to cooperate, that if you need to be contact traced, be contact traced and cooperate with your local public health. But not everybody who walks in here gets tested every time they do. If you're symptomatic, here at HHS, at a meatpacking plant, at a school, you need to get tested.
And the meatpacking plants now are doing very well. There's great testing around those plants. And we're finding out who had the problem. They're being quarantined, and the meatpacking is moving along very nicely. But they were trouble spots. They were hot zones, definitely. Please. And you know, one thing I think is very important though, John, just to finish, we have now, and nobody says it, they just don't want to write it, by far more tests than any other country in the world.
Come on
not
with
even a
that, dude.
contest.
Come
And
on.
the quality of our test is the best anywhere in the world. That's very important to say. Please go ahead.
That's very important
To
to
make
say.
sure I understand the White House's position, are you saying that right now you feel there's enough testing, adequate testing across the United States, or do you feel that it needs to be ramped up, and by how much, if so, does it need to be ramped up?
I think we've been clear all along that we believe, and the data indicate, we have enough testing to do the phase 1 gradual reopening that has been supported in the president's plan and the task force plan. And it has to be a phased reopening. Nobody's saying turn the light switch on and everyone go, because then it would be really impossible to control the spread of the virus. You know, there are many models out there. The Rockefeller Foundation published their recommendations of about 3 million tests per week. That's exactly what we're doing. If you look at our agent-based models, it's far below that. If you take the Safra Center at Harvard and correct their misassumptions, like on the sensitivity of the test, the mitigation processes, and how many people get hospitalized, you get about that number. Now, I am not going to come here and say we can absolutely swear it's God's truth that this is the number we need. But we know we have enough to open, and we're going to be very careful with our ILI net, with our surveillance programs, and with the data come in to inform us even further as we grow and learn. And I think, Brad.
And let me just add a little bit to that, because most days I don't come to the White House to work. I either go to FEMA or I go to HHS. And let me just talk you through what the protocols are there, because I would never get tested if I wasn't coming to the White House. So every day when we come in, we get our temperature taken and we get asked questions about if we have symptoms. If you don't, then you enter the workplace, and then there's hand sanitizer all over the place. In rooms that are made for conference rooms, they put pieces of paper that say don't sit in essentially every other or every third seat to separate people. And so there's a lot of precautions that we're taking in the federal government that are separate from testing, and those are the precautions that the agencies that Admiral Gerard and I are working at every day.
John got
It's
this
just the same stuff over and over again.
If
You all
people
know
want to
this.
get tested, they get tested.
And there's
We
that.
have the greatest capacity in the world.
You want to
Not
test?
even
Yeah.
close.
Well, clearly
if people
not.
want to get tested, they get tested. But
Not
John,
for the
did you
most part,
grow
they
this?
shouldn't want to get tested. There's no reason. They feel good. They don't have sniffles. They don't have sore throats. They don't have any problem. If they do feel there's something happening, they have the absolute easy. In fact, Ron DeSantis of Florida, the governor, doing a fantastic job in Florida. He said he's got a little bit of the opposite problem. He's got so much testing that people sit around and wait for people to come in, that they have a great overcapacity for testing, and there are numerous
Look
other
at
states that
Florida's
have told me
numbers
the
and
same
you'll quickly see
thing.
that
That's, by the way, a good problem, not a bad problem, okay? Yeah, go ahead, please.
Said many times that the U.S. is doing far better than any other country when it comes to testing.
Yes.
Why does that matter? Why is this a global competition?
Right!
Every day Americans are still
Man,
losing
focus on
their
telling
lives.
people to stay home instead of bragging about how great your testing is.
Well, they're losing their lives everywhere in the world.
Nasty question.
And maybe that's a question you should ask China. Don't ask me, ask China that question, okay? When you ask them that question,
She's an
you get a
American
very
journalist.
unusual answer. Yes,
With
behind
the
you.
White House press corps. Can you imagine who is she
So
to
why
ask?
are you saying that to me specifically?
I'm
That I
telling
should
you,
ask
I'm not
China?
saying it specifically to anybody. I'm saying it to anybody that would ask a
Well, you
nasty
pointed at her
question.
and
like
said
that.
It's not a nasty
Please
question.
go ahead.
Why does it matter?
Okay, anybody else? Please, go ahead.
Oh,
with that,
damn.
please.
I have two
No,
questions.
it's okay.
But
We'll
you
go,
pointed
yeah.
to me. I have two questions, Mr.
Next,
President.
next, please.
But you
That
didn't
must have
call
been
out
Caitlin
me.
Collins.
I did, and you didn't respond, and now I'm calling on
Sorry, I just
the
wanted
young
to,
lady in the back, please.
I just wanted to let my colleague
Okay.
finish. But can I ask you a
Ladies and
question,
gentlemen, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Ah, you got shut down by
Wow.
two women.
Caitlin Collins just shut down a Trump press briefing.
Fuck
She just
yeah!
shut down- Well, Fox is already
What
on
a
it.
sexist
Caitlin
piece of
Collins,
shit.
Trump rage quitting. Oh my goodness. Can somebody please clip that for him? I need a bunch. Oh my goodness. So let's see here. I need a bunch of clips from this. I need.
Wow!
Gia
I'm
Jan
so glad we
Preston.
watched this.
We need Caitlin. If
Oh,
anybody
excuse me.
Aaron Rupar is probably going to.
I forgot I'm live. Quarter of the hour, Cannabis Citizens Borough.
Caitlin Collins rage quit moment, and then what was the other one? There was one other one that I wanted. Hold on a second. Okay. The Obama Gate crime. When Trump was asked what crime was committed, and he said the crime is Obamagate. If somebody could do me the favor, just because, I mean, I'll do it, obviously. I don't need your help producing the show, but it helps. If you can monitor ATRUPAR, Aaron Rupar's Twitter, he almost always posts these, and email me those 3 clips. It's Wijia Jiang's question where Trump says, why don't you ask China? She says, why are you telling me to do it? He's like, no, I'm not. Caitlin Collins forcing a rage quit, and then the Obamagate is the crime thing. Please get that stuff over to me because I really, really need that. Okay, let me thank. The best way to support this stream and every stream is when you get a membership on my website. Info is there. Let me thank some people.
You don't want this. Here, I'll give you a piece. Hold on. How about from right here? Okay? Both loud. Here, Rogan. Half a little piece. Oh, you like it, huh? That's a tasty treat. Okay. Good boy. Big boy. Big boy. Big boy. No, I need to burp, man. My stomach's been bothering me. If you look at the title of the video, this was the only thing I could think of I could eat that wasn't going to hurt me, really. I might have a piece of pizza left in the fridge. I'm not sure. I do not feel good, man. I feel like, ugh. So, yay. I'm going to get out of here, guys. Hope you had fun. No law regarding cannabis. And I will see you on Twitter. Those of you guys who've come on over to Twitter, we're having fun. Trendy as Dabbers on Twitter. Make sure to report at Trendy as Dabber for being a phony account. Trendy as Dabber at Twitter is a phony account. Make sure to turn them in. Of course, their name says Trendy as Dabbers, but if you look at their it says at Trendy as Dabber. That's the one. Report them for being phony, for impersonation. Let's get them taken the fuck down, people. All right, I'm sick of seeing that goddamn account up. All right, bye, guys.